Alright, Mr.MiyagiStyle. Hey guys, how's it going? Happy Tuesday? Is it Tuesday already? Jeez. Just a couple things. I don't know if you've noticed, there's been a lot of footage and reviews and people taking recordings of the Ace Pro lately, and there's been a couple of reputable content creators that I actually follow, and they're great, they're funny, very skilled. One, and I'll get into this a little bit later, I'm just going to do a commentary. I'm getting a little tired of looking at my face, to be honest with you. Just to kind of cover a couple things that he said in his video, being that this is a serious issue for this camera, and I'm guessing it's a serious issue for him. I don't think they are, and I'll explain that a little bit later on. There's another video of you've probably seen him. He's just put up a video with the Ace Pro with an Nikon, I think SLR camera. He's doing pros and cons of the two, and again we're focusing on the close focus problem or issue or limitation, I like to say, with this camera. We all know there is a limitation with this camera, and as a vlogging camera, he's correct that they should have focused, no pun intended, on that close proximity issue with this camera, being that it has a flip up screen. So it's you know, it's supposed to be a vlogging camera. For me, I'm not as critical. I don't see it as a problem because the distance, I haven't been getting the kind of issues he's been getting with focusing. Maybe my eyes are toast or whatever, I'm getting old, whatever. But on a 2 feet, which is about this distance, a vlogging distance for me anyways, I don't vlog this close, I think it's sufficient. I did a video on it. I think most of you guys agree that some can't see the problem, or there is a slight difference with focusing when you're close up. And that's why we got into the close-up lenses and the diopter lenses for a quick fix. Anyways, I don't want to get into that. I already got into that with the next with my previous video. The one thing about this particular content creator is that the first video he did, review he did between the DJI Action 4 and the Ace Pro, and he did the close-up thing. He was talking about the focus being off focus and the background being very focused. And the DJI Action 4 was the exact opposite. And it was very focused, and he was actually talking, well, look at this, how well this DJI A4 focus compared to the Ace Pro, which shouldn't be this way because it's supposed to be, you know, a vlogging camera. And I agree. You know, I don't disagree with that. But then later on, the next video he came out with, he admitted that on DJI, I haven't pointed this out to him on his review, that the background is really clear. You know, for a lot of people that's more important. For me it is anyways. But everybody shoots differently, right? And he told me, his response was, well, that's your problem, you concentrate too much on the background. And that's fine, whatever. I don't really care. Fine. So the next video he came up with, he admitted that on the DJI Action 4 he actually used a close-up filter on it. That's why it was so clear. So I'm not sure what he was trying to do there, because did he do that to make the Ace Pro look bad right off the bat in his review? Because essentially when he took that lens off the DJI A4, it looked the same as the Ace Pro. So this issue is not a new issue. He even said or commented that, and a lot of people have, it's a limitation of the large sensor, which the DJI A4 has the same sensor as this. So I'm gonna say that, wait, is the Ace Pro the same as the DJI 4 in terms of the quality? So DJI A4 also has this problem, but we never talked about this problem in any of the reviews that I've seen with DJI A4. Why is this an issue for this camera, but nobody talks about the same issue that the DJI A4 has? Because it's the same. If you take that lens off, the DJI doesn't focus very well close up, but focuses good in the background, just like the Ace Pro, right? And my argument is, yeah, that's great, but the Ace Pro does better than the DJI 4 at nighttime. that's hands down a fact. Like it's been proven several times by biased or non-biased reviewers. So do I trust this reviewer anymore? I'm going to say no because of what he did. Because I don't know what he was trying to do there. I'm a little confused. Maybe you can explain it to me, but that's how I see it anyways. Long story short, so you're going to see a couple of examples. So this very reputable content creator just created this last night, and I go, this is interesting. So me being having my ADHD, it was I think 2:30 in the morning. I actually took my camera and did pretty much exactly what he did. Because he had, the first problem was the lights having this weird artifact or flaring of the lights, pot lights. So I happen to have pot lights in this house, and I took the camera and I just put in your standard default 4K 30 frames. Wasn't even in pure video. I just did it in regular video, and I actually took the camera and pointed directly at lights, and you'll see in this video, and I'll commentate throughout the whole thing, that I tried different types of lighting. So fluorescent pot lights, regular bathroom lighting, regular shaded lighting, that kind of thing. And I also tried it on, I have two, I don't know if you've seen these lights, or those workshop lights that have the wings that fold down. They're LEDs. They're like 80 LEDs, and they're super, super bright. That's what they're designed to do, and they're super powerful. So I actually use, that's probably the best example because it's so bright. So I actually use that, the camera on that, to do a sample of it. And I walked around the house and I did some shots around that. And you'll be interesting at the results because I didn't get the kind of problems he did, which is really strange. So maybe I have the super elite camera, but I seem to be getting a lot of different results than some people are getting on YouTube. I'm not editing these, they're just coming out the camera and they're just put on YouTube, right? Except for the ones where I put side by side, then I have to do it through a software. So I compared, so I thought, okay, wait a minute, this is weird. So I took my DJI, which is probably my best shooting camera in terms of quality. Daytime, this camera is great. I have the DJI Action 2, the little cube one. This guy right here, which shoots great video in like bright conditions, right? So I took this one, I put it in the same settings, 4K 30 frames per second, de-warp with just a steady stabilization, because I wanted to give it the best. Because if you have it at steady, it's not as degrading to the quality as the rock steady, which is their highest. It's kind of like a low high, medium high stabilization. They just call it a different name. So I have the Ace Pro at the standard as well, and just the regular profile, standard profile. So they're pretty much in comparison in terms of the exact specs for shooting. Pure video was not on, so I was shooting without the pure video. And I got very different results. And you'll see, the funny thing is the A4 was worse. The DJI, you'll see what I mean. I'll commentate throughout the video of the sample. Anyways, I want to keep this kind of short. You still have to look at the videos of the sampling. It's not too long, so I'll just point out little things. The other thing was the 8K. Okay, so I disagree. I don't think this is a major flaw, as he calls it, a serious flaw. And I don't think the lighting is a serious flaw because I'm not getting it. Are these deal breakers? No, because the 8K is, so 8K is the only, this is the only camera that has 8K. So behavior wise, we don't know how this camera is going to act with 8K. So, and I've noticed this before, and it's only in certain settings. So on the 8K, he pointed out that there's a lag between the recording and the screen. Okay, so I tested this out. You'll see that on the video as well. So in 8K at 24 frames with stabilizer on, when you're only when you're recording, when you're viewing, it doesn't do anything. Only when you're recording. If you have movement, like if you move your hand, I'll show you how. When you move your hand over the screen or the lens, there's a lag on the display. So he says it's 2 seconds. It's not. It's half a second. I haven't counted half a second, right? So it's not 2 seconds. 2 seconds of lifetime on these cameras, right? Anyway, so that's, I think he exaggerated a little bit there. Now, does this affect the recording? No, it does not. because I tested it on, you'll see on the video. So I have a recording, and I'm recording my TV screen, and every time my TV screen changes screens, like to the next scene, I would swipe my hand over it, and you'll see it's in the recording, it's in sync, right? But on the screen there's a lag, there's a half a second lag. Okay, so we know that it's from the processing to the screen that there's a lag. It's not actually the recording, there's a lag. Now he's approached Insta360, and they said to fix this is to turn off the stabilization. Once you turn off the stabilization, it's fine, there's no lag. So it's something to do with the stabilization that's causing that screen display lag only. So I'm hoping that there will be a fix in the future firmware. Now I understand he says, well, why should we buy a camera that we keep waiting for firmwares to fix these issues? And I don't think they're critical issues, not in my use anyways. And let's be honest, a lot of people say, oh, we'll never shoot 8K. So it's redundant with the 8K because most people won't shoot 8K. And if you shoot in 8K, it is still usable footage. That doesn't affect your recording, and it's still amazing footage if you have the hardware to back up. I have a tough time doing 8K on my PC, and it's only a year old. It's quite powerful. Color grading and doing any kind of post edit work with 8K is brutal, unless you're very patient. But anyways, that's redundant. So just so you know that the 8K quality is still, I'm sorry, still hands down amazing. And let's be honest, I'd rather have this half a second lag than a camera that doesn't even offer 8K. So we always kind of jump in a negative part of the ship, but we don't concentrate on the positive part of the ship, which is what the point of me being here. Because there's just way too many negatives that we simmer in, but we don't look at the good things of this camera, right? And there's a lot. And you know, he likes the camera for the low light shooting, and let's concentrate on those things. Because that's what this camera is selling to be, a low light shooter. It doesn't really sell as a vlogging camera, because I don't think in any of their marketing it's the vlogging camera of the world, right? Everybody's assumed that because it has that flip up screen. So there's that. Anyways, I'll move on with that. I'm gonna post another video. I got the gimbal, so I've had to look at this. This is so sexy. So it comes with a little stand. You can actually stand it. So when I turn it on, automatically the gimbal will calibrate, and it seems to be working really well. It's holding that weight. The payload's working really well with this camera. I've got it mounted. It took me literally 5 minutes to set this up and balance and everything, and that's it, right? And it works really well. I'll do more with this. I just took it out for a quick because it was snowing really badly last night, so I actually took it out, and you'll see in the video. I do notice a difference, especially with the night shooting. In the Ace Pro, the night shooting is amazing. It's like the best in all the action cameras, and that's already proven. You can't debunk that, okay? Nobody's been able to say, well, no, this is not a good low light shooter to GoPro. GoPro doesn't even match. GoPro is not even in that same class. DJI is probably the closest, and it still beats DJI in some respect. So it's still a better low light shooter, and that's why I got this for, right? So that's my use. Now I do notice that when I'm shooting low light, especially when it's really dark, when you're moving quite fast, if there's quite fast motion, there is jitter. It's just because the CPU can't keep up with degrading, or stop with the degrading, denoising in real time, so it jitters a little bit, and you can see that, and I'm gonna admit that, right? But majority of times it's pretty good. Like if you can keep it still with your hand, if you have still hands and you're not doing this kind of thing, then the footage is perfect. And I wouldn't do that kind of thing in low light shooting because the camera's working so hard to get that quality, right? With any camera, it doesn't have to be this. This works harder because it has the 5nm processor in it. But with the gimbal, you'll see in the footage that everything is really smooth. And take a look at when I'm walking down, the weather's kind of crappy. Take a look at when I'm walking down the sidewalk and look up on your left hand side. There's trees with lights on it. Look at the detail and look how smooth that is. Look at all the lights around the front, and look at my dog. There's hardly any jitter. if any at all. I didn't really catch much. Maybe further down, you'll see in the distance, you'll see maybe a little bit, but I didn't catch anything. You guys be the judge of that, but I'll post that in later on. Anyways, this is really neat. It works really well, and I think I might actually keep it, and I can use it for my other cameras, like the DJI or the GoPro or whatever, right? Just going to improve your shooting that much. So if you can disable the stabilization of the camera and use that instead, your quality is going to be better. Okay, right off the bat. Anyways, ciao. Have a great day. Peace out. Respect. Talk to you guys in a bit. Enjoy. This quick one, this is the first video. This is the 8K thing we're talking about. So just look at my hand, and every time the scene changes, I'll sweat my hand. Now when I do that, recording is fine. It's dead on, but on the screen there's a half a second delay. Just so you know. Alright, in this part I'm in my living room. Sorry about the mess, guys. I this was done in like 2:30 in the morning. If you look at the pot lights on there, yeah, there's lens flare, but that's typical when you're pointing your camera up to the screen, especially when you have a filter or glass lens on it. But you'll notice that it doesn't have the kind of flare that he had. Like, it's really weird. And I've got that thing up high, and the definition even around the light is very clear. Here's another one with just a regular shaded light. This one you can adjust the temp or the strength of the light. This is the bathroom one. And this is where you're going to see a big difference. This is my workshop, and you'll see fluorescent lights, and you'll see to the right, those lights right there are super powerful, and you'll see a difference in the next video with the DJI. So next up, we're going to pan over to the DJI Action 2 camera. So you'll notice that the lights, look at this. It's almost blurry. You can't even see any definition of the fluorescent light. Whereas mine, the Ace Pro, you can, and that one as well. Now watch when I turn on that same light. Those really powerful. Look at this. This is exactly what he has on his video with the Ace Pro. So this tells me something, that this is not an Ace Pro only problem. This also happens with other cameras. This is like, it didn't show it on my Ace Pro, and I'm not even shooting with pure light on or pure video on. So, and look at that. There's a flare, and it's almost blurred out, whereas the Ace Pro has better definition of the light. Now, this is the bathroom light. This looks about the same. Still looks kind of blown out, the light bulbs. I don't know about you, but it just looks kind of blown out. Mine, the Ace Pro has a bit more definition, a little bit more dynamic range. Now I'm going upstairs. Now this is kind of unfair because when I did mine, it was dark outside and it's bright in here. So this could affect the pot light issue. But I would use that workshop one as a good example because that is shot in the same lighting condition as the Ace Pro. So this one you'll see that, yeah, it doesn't have that flare. But I'm going to try it again when it's dark out because I'm getting all that light from the window, and I think that's not doing its due diligence. It's not really a fair comparison to the Ace Pro because I did that at night. But I'll try that again, see if I'm getting that flare, and I have a funny feeling that I will because it's a darker environment, right? But just so you know, those are differences, and I'm not even going to mention the detail quality when it gets low light on the DJI Action 2. It's shooting at the same setting as the Ace Pro, but look at the details of this one. This is 4K 30 frames as well, and it just doesn't have the kind of clarity as the Ace Pro does. And there's that close. I'll shoot that again. I make bread, so I just made some sourdough. So you'll see that when I go close up to that bread in a second there, the details aren't very good either. And this is the DJI A2. Okay, so now we're talking about the close focusing. It also has the same problem with close focusing. Anyways, that's it, guys.